Good afternoon and welcome to another video. Today we'll be checking out one of the original versions of Dance Super Station, and that sits with us right here. Now, this is the memory most people have of Dance Super Station. It's like a very early incarnation of their machine that we know today. I've made videos on the 2022 edition. Yeah, check it out. Some of these charts get super mean. Look at that. And the 2025 edition, Dance Super Station 2025, are both quite new and both a far cry from what we see here today. Here in its early roots is a crude pump it up / DDR rip-off machine, which we can see today, full of English, Chinese and Korean songs. The machine reflects perhaps a pump it up DX, the way it has this platform right here. But also maybe like a GX or something, judging by the front. It's quite hard to say what they were going for. But the most confusing thing about this is a machine clone come out of like 2001 with the graphics and the primitive gameplay. But looking at the copyright symbol at the top, 2007 with copyright spelled completely wrong. What were they thinking? So Advanced Amusement Machine, these are the people that made Dance Super Station. And yeah, let's take a little look at the machine. So on the surface you may be thinking, what is this pump it up clone? Well, that is where you would be wrong, and I'm going to accuse you of not looking at your research properly, because the middle panel is not a step, it's just a metal platform. And you could call it a metal platform. It's actually quite thin, super thin in fact, but it is not a step there, so you can't really call it a pump clone. But you can see it's pretty much copied the DDR graphics here, right down to these little circles here, but they've just put DSS on there for Dance Super Station. Around the arrows here you see this crude industrial-like reflective strip with no real design. It looks like something they've just pulled off some sort of ballad in the street. I'm not sure why it needs to be reflective unless someone's planning on putting it in front of moving traffic. They even have backing plates here. They kind of look a similar dimension to DDR, so I'm wondering if you could switch those out. A lot of people need those things. And then around here you have this huge girder-like structure, whatever you might call it, with sort of disco lights. Now this machine is meant more for freestyling, right? Not really speeding. There's not too many hard shots on this game. It's mostly kind of like that, mostly chill, right? Mostly chill stuff. The singles and doubles and all that stuff. But there's also hand sensors, so one here, one here, one here, and one here, and the same on the other side as well. This is a performance-based machine, so you have 4 hand sensors, 4 arrows each side. When playing this machine, it's kind of awkward. You're kind of just shuffling backwards and forwards and side to side. It feels very robotic and very weird. But today we're going to have a look at this machine. But just like Techno Motion and early versions that pump it up, they have some very interesting statements on these machines. A lot of them don't really make sense, and it goes back before the times of perhaps very good translation tools, right? So if you come over to the side here, you can see a cool little motto. This is the Dance Super Station mascot, or at least an earlier version. And it says, in terms of audio equipment, we select the hi-fi, the high fidelity amp to provide you the hearing feelings like in a disco club you have never experienced before. A sensitive and flexible adaptation system more suitable for the quick deduction, the 4th genera songs. They're going to try and say that slang, but we know it looks like more like a Swiss city than anything else. Alright, so there you go. That is the cabinet. So I made a video on Techno Motion. I actually had a Techno Motion, in fact. So if you've seen that video, you'll know. This looks more like a Pump It Up FX, right? So we're going to try it. I have got my card. Very hard to play in this arcade, but we figured it out. I think, yeah, there we go. So I have no idea what this game is even called. It says Passional, and they had the balls to trademark that. Then it says Dance Super Station. Most locals would call this E5, right? So to select the song and use the menus, I don't think you use these. They didn't work for me anyway. You actually use the hand sensors up here. And I've just stepped here and the whole platform has moved. Oh my god, look how flimsy this is. That's just my hands, look. I'm gonna make a huge crack in the floor. I thought we could whip this up and have a look at the sensors. I might do that before we leave. Then we can have a little look together. All right, let's stop getting distracted. How do we, is it this? This? Press the floor? Okay, I'll be back when I work out how to start the game. So apparently only one side works. I should have probably guessed that because it's not even plugged in. So to change the difficulty, yeah, I'm not kidding. And every time you do that, sometimes it does it once, sometimes it does it twice. So you have to get a bit lucky. Remix, so they've kind of copied the pump it up structure there. We can't play doubles, so we're gonna have to play singles. And I have no idea what the select menu button is. I'm kind of scared to touch it, in fact. I don't even know how to press I wanna play. Look at that animation. It's a bit shrill, isn't it? So you're going to recognize these songs from early Pump It Up, Easy to Dance, all that stuff. Oh my god, look at that. So they have songs from DDR, they have songs from Pump It Up. That was actually in an early version of Pump It Up. Pump Me Amadeus, it's just called Pump Me. What is going on? So right now this game has over 6,000 songs. 6,000 songs. Granted, most of them are freestyle steps. But even when playing speeding, you're almost at 2,000 songs, you know. So it's a far cry to what you see today. Sounds like popcorn. So the speaker's actually behind me. This is where the music is coming out. So I'm just gonna see how much we're gonna go through. I'm gonna fail because the pads don't even work. So you just get an idea of the song list, right? We're gonna play Baila Baila. I don't know if the speed mods, again this machine is barely hanging on for dear life. I wonder what that means, step 2x. So this is the gameplay. It just lagged. You see how broken it is? I can barely trigger the sensors. I'm just triggering some so you can see some of the judgments. Crazy, right? So these are the hand sensors, to the left, to the right. This is up and down, but you might get an up and down jump like this one, which means you do up and down at the same time. So you pretty much do like a Patrick Starfish from SpongeBob to get that one. And then the arrows, again, they look like old skin pump arrows, like something out of one of the really early mixes. Even the scoring graphic there, I dare say that looks kind of stolen. The font looks very similar to early Pump It Up as well. And yeah, there's everything else. The background animations look interesting, don't they? And there's the note skins. I'm not sure if it's the original monitor because the arrows are kind of cut off on the side there. But the interesting thing is, I think this game is still being sold on AliExpress, on Alibaba, and I think we've just got one installed in Birmingham in the UK. And I'm not joking, it looks just like this. I don't know how they're still selling it. Maybe they didn't sell enough and they have a huge warehouse full of this game. I don't know how it works. I don't know the secret formula, but it's certainly a huge footprint in your arcade. Look how big this machine is. I'll just step away. Look how ginormous this game is. There's Super Bikes 3 for comparison. Imagine getting that in your front door, right? it comes out the back like almost like a mother brain. But the new version 2025 doesn't have all this shit on it. It's just a very minimal machine and it actually looks very good. The game has come a very long way. It still has the same quotes on the side. What on earth? No powerlifting, wow. All right, is it done? Okay, we failed. Game over. It sounds very Japanese, right? Let's have a look at the attract here. Oh, why would you put... They're not even trademarking their own business. What's going on? You got the honeycomb. A honeycomb. Kind of looks a bit like Fiesta now. Oh, no way. Oh, there you go. I will just wrap up this attract, then we'll get out of here. I love that advertisement. 200 BPM maximum. Oh my god. I feel like the hardware wouldn't even support more than that. Well, that was Passional by Amusement Machines, Dance Super Station back in 2007. Oh wow, it's come a long way, hasn't it? So before I leave, I'm going to try and crack open this arrow. We'll have a look together, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you in another video coming soon. Take care. Okay, for those of you that stayed till the end of the video and you want to learn a bit more about this game, well, let's have a look. So I found a hard drive dump of this exact game. You can see the attract screen right here. So it's pretty much the same release, right? You can even see the same stuff there. And a lot of the content is kind of encrypted in these like zip files, but not zip files, but it's like it gets mounted as a virtual file system. I was working on an extractor for that, and I got some stuff out, but it's all irrelevant right now. But I did notice a couple of interesting things, right? So if we get one of these kind of content packs and drag it onto HXD, we can look at the sort of internal information. Oh no, maybe it's pack 1. Check this out, look. Caution, Dance Dance Revolution 3rd Mix Korean version 2, which I thought was quite interesting actually. And ultimately it looks like it's based on Stepmania. You see a lot of the DLLs here. I opened the DSS in IDA here, and I saw a lot of like Stepmania based strings and things, so it's like a Stepmania based engine. And it's quite interesting because it's based on a Korean game, right, called 3DDX, which I'll show you now. The audio is pretty bad, so open it up a bit. So this was developed by a Korean company called NGG back in around year 2000. I think they went out of business or just gave up when the dance boom went away. Looks like they're kind of using almost like a DX cabinet here. But interestingly, if you look at the pad, I think it zooms in a second, you can see the same kind of design look. So we see the same reflective strips there, the same inner square, but it says 3DDX in the middle here. So this is like the Korean company that produced this. And I think what I realized was because they exported some of these machines internationally, but mainly to China, I believe just kind of did what I did. They took the drive, extracted the files, stole a bunch of content from DDR and pumped it up and pretty much produced a new version. And not just one version, like a million versions. So here's something else I found, which I was going to do myself, and then I saw this guy from Argentina pretty much do everything for me and more than I was ever going to do. So if you want to check out that, you can look at this URL here. So he's put together pretty much every single incarnation of this game up until 2007. So you can see it kind of starts here, look, year 2000, Dance Station 3DDX, which is what we saw in the video. They made a PC game, and then a couple of other stuff, even a European arcade release, which I think I maybe saw one ever. It was wildly unsuccessful, if so. And then they kind of went out of business somewhere around here, right? And then the machine we saw in the video is, I think it was dated 2007, Passional, and you can see it's out of China. And if you look at the song lists, you can sort of match up the version with the one we saw in the video. Funky Tonight and stuff. But if you go down, you can see DDR songs. So that kind of reinforces that DDR tag we saw in one of those archive files. But look at this. We even saw, oh look, V3 Love is a Danger Zone 2. So this is like pump it up content. Like any Chinese game, they just throw a bunch of Chinese songs for the local market. This one was quite interesting. They released 2 upgrades, at least that we know of, and in the second upgrade they did a mashup of Vertex and Energizer. Oh, if you highlight over it, VVV, which was in Pump It Up Pro. I can't even imagine how that would sound, but that's absolutely ridiculous. And then in later versions, yeah, even a bunch of other songs as well. So it's absolutely crazy, right? But if you want to contribute to this project, he did so much research on these machines, the roots of 3DDX in Korea, and then how they kind of disappeared, and we ended up with this Chinese company producing all this stuff. And I believe the ultimate product out of this was the Dance Super Station, which we see today. You can see even here the middle panel still missing in all these later machines. But eventually I think it appeared and it's kind of what we see today in Dance Super Station 2025. I got videos on my channel, you can check them all out. But yeah, eventually that's what it ended up as. And I think that's like a lot of Chinese products, right? They start with stolen ideas, and now if you visit China in 2026, they have some really good products. And this is the 2025 edition, which I have a video of on my channel. You can check it out, and it looks a far cry from what we saw at the start of this video, doesn't it? But yeah, pretty much a game based on stolen ideas and stolen roots, and now it's a game with over 6,000 songs, online support, and some absolutely crazy stuff. And oh yeah, I think he's talking about how to extract these contents, which is what I was working on, and the answers were here the whole time. What a waste of 40 minutes. Never mind. But yeah, if you want to contribute to this, he's looking for more content, yeah, help him out, comment below. But I hope you enjoyed the video of this crazy game, and stay tuned for more crazy stuff coming soon. Adios.